Hello you guys, Merry Christmas. It's actually Christmas Eve when I'm recording this, which is crazy. I cannot believe it's Christmas. I have no idea when I'm gonna upload this, but I'm hoping to get it up in the next couple of days. But this me right now is not the me that you're gonna see in the video. So I actually recorded the video that I'm about to post, or that you're about to watch, about 6 weeks ago-ish. So basically this is a video sharing my experience with my surgery, what it looked like getting my pituitary tumor removed, sharing the whole experience and journey with you guys, showing you photos, the whole thing. But I wanted to start out and give you a proper update of where I'm at now currently. So I actually just on Thursday, so today's Sunday, just on Thursday I had my final follow-up visit with my surgeon and my endocrinologist, and I saw them for the last time, and I walked out of that hospital for the last time. I got my last MRI, and I'm about to cry because it's just such a surreal thing to have, like, to be done with this journey, which is like where I'm at. Like, the journey's over, and that is just wild to me, and it still doesn't really feel real, but the follow-ups could not have gone better. Everything looks so great. My hormones look really great. My prolactin's just a 4. My surgeon literally said the words, "You're cured." My MRI showed that there's no tumor, and it's just, I could not be feeling better. I'm actually at the point now where, like, I feel like 100% after surgery, but like even better because my hormones are in a good place now, and I don't have this tumor in my head, and it feels like there's been such a weight lifted off of my shoulders. And I talk about this in the video that you're about to see, but like, I just am so thankful for this journey. It was the greatest gift of my life, and I feel so honored that the Lord let me walk through this, because it's just made me such a better person, and I've come out on the other side so much better. So I hope you guys enjoy this video, and I hope this can right off the bat just give you some hope if you're walking through this as well, that you will be someday 10 weeks post-op and it's like it never happened, but you're feeling even better because it did happen and you don't have a tumor in your head anymore. So I just want to give you that hope. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoy this video, and I hope you've had a very Merry Christmas and happy holiday season. Happy 2024. Love you guys so much. Enjoy the video. Hello. I remember with my last video where I was updating you guys and telling you about my surgery, I remember thinking and saying, like, oh my goodness, I can't wait until I'm recording my next video giving you guys an update on how it went, and just like, I can't wait to be on the other side. So here we are. I am officially 1 month post brain surgery, which is just wild that it's been a month. Feels like it didn't even happen sometimes. It's crazy. Like, I remember I had a friend telling me the whole time, like, you know, it feels so big right now, and that's so valid, but there will be a day where it will just feel like a little blip in the timeline of your life. And I'm like, only a month after it already feels like a little blip in the timeline of my life. So just right off the bat, giving you guys hope, if anybody is walking through this or anything that feels really big and scary, there will be a day where you look back and it's just a little blip on the timeline of your life. So I'm gonna be sharing a video today where I just kind of tell you guys about my experience. I really want to share this for anybody who is going to walk through this or who is walking through this. I just want to share my story to hopefully give you some hope, encouragement, and let you know that you are not alone, because I know this journey can feel really scary and really overwhelming, and you can feel very alone in it. So I just want to make this video for you guys, and just kind of, I know I was searching for videos before my surgery of people, you know, of their experiences, and what I was really searching for was some sense of like peace and comfort, and knowing that I'm not alone, and knowing that everything's gonna be okay. And so I just want to be that for you guys and share my story, because I'm gonna say right off the bat too, it was so much, I mean, it was by no means easy, but it was so much better than what I was expecting it would be, and I'm just so thankful. And now I also have like so many God stories, like hundreds of ways that the Lord just showed up and made this a really beautiful experience. Like, it's crazy to me that I can look back on this surgery and think, like, the day before, the day of, like the night before, like all of these moments that could have been very traumatic and like bring up stuff. When I think about them, I just think about the time during my surgery and before and after, and it was literally the sweetest, like one of the sweetest experiences I've ever gotten to walk through. And so I just feel so much thankfulness for it. Like, it has healed so much. The Lord has used it to do such a beautiful work in my heart and in my life. And I'm forever thankful. I received the healing of my heart through this journey, more valuable than any physical healing. So I just want to start out by sharing that too. So I kind of just want to take you guys through the day before, the day of, and then my time at the hospital. So the day before, I had to go in for a CTA scan and a COVID test. So the CTA scan was like a CT angiogram, something like that. Don't quote me on that. But they had told me about the scan, and when I was scheduling the surgery, she was like, they may have to shave your hair off for some of that scan, just to warn you. And I was like, what are you saying? Shave my hair? I was like, I thought you were going through my nose. Why are you gonna shave some of my hair? And so, but she said maybe. She was like, it's not guaranteed, but they may have to. And I was like, okay. So then it's like, I just tried to forget about it until the day of, and then I was a little worried, but I went into it hopeful that they wouldn't have to shave my hair. And the lady was like, did they tell you about the scan? And I was like, she said you may have to shave some of my hair off. And she was like, we will. And I was like, oh no. And so I go back there, and she like shows me this like styrofoam head with these little, so they had to put little markers on my head, and it had like, it was covered in them, and I thought she was gonna have to shave like 20 holes on my head. But she was like, since they're going through your nose, only have to do like 7 of them. So I have 7 little bald spots on my head. You can see now, I don't know if you can see this video, but yeah, you can see. This is my little spiky spot. The hair growth is real, and I'm so thankful that my hair grows pretty fast. But it's kind of funny. I honestly don't care. I'm like, it's so funny. And that's the only one that shows out of 7 of them. So that's a blessing too. But this was while she was shaving my hair. This is what the little markers looked like on my head. You can see them on my head there. And then I'm gonna just show you the bald spots after they took the markers off. So they took the markers off while I was in surgery. And then this is what the bald spots looked like. So they were looking a little rough, but luckily like a week after surgery, my hair had already grown back enough to where you like couldn't see that there was really any hair missing. So I'm very thankful that my hair grows fast, but I have never heard of anybody else that had to get this scan and get some of their hair shaved. So I wouldn't be freaking out if you're like, you know, about to get this surgery and you're worried about that. I wouldn't freak out quite yet, and also I wouldn't freak out at all because it's honestly not that bad. And if this does not bother me at all, because I'm just like, I got brain surgery, I named it, his name is Harrison. So I think it's kind of funny, but if it does bother you, like, so easy to just put on a hat, or like there are ways to cover it up. So it's a-okay. But the day before I got that scan, and the CT scan is like so much better than an MRI. Oh my goodness, it's like 5 minutes or less. The contrast for the CT scan, I will say, feels a lot different than for the MRI. I'm not sure why, but with the MRI, I just feel like a little bit of a cold sensation, and I get the metallic taste in my mouth. And then for the CT, it's like I get the metallic taste, but it's like warmth flushes through my whole body, and I feel like I'm peeing myself. And this is like a normal thing to feel like. With the contrast for the CT, I don't know why they're different. I didn't expect them to be different, but it's definitely a different sensation that you get with the CT versus the MRI. But yeah, so I got the CT scan, had little markers on my head. I had to keep them on my head until like my surgery, so they took them off after the surgery was over. I think this allowed them to do like 3D imaging during the surgery. Like, I got those on, and that whole day at the hospital was just so sweet. And like, I was expecting to feel very scared that whole day and just be on edge the whole day, because obviously my surgery was the next day. But I just felt so much peace and joy, and every single person that I encountered that day was just telling me how amazing my surgeon was. They're like, who's your surgeon? And I'm like, Dr. Baskin. And they're like, oh, he's the best, you have nothing to worry about. And then like the 5th lady that said that, she was the receptionist for his office, and she was like, I'm gonna be praying over you by name tomorrow, and the Lord's got you. And she was just so sweet. And then I walked into the bathroom, and the one stall that I walked into, because I went into all the others after, I was like, did somebody stick these in all the stalls? But the one stall that I went into, I walked in and it had this sticky note on it. And it's just a Bible verse, Jeremiah 30:17. It says, for I will restore health to you, and your wounds I will heal, declares the Lord. And I saw that and I was like, okay, God, okay, I see you. And I just left the hospital that day just feeling so much peace from the Lord and so much encouragement. And I just felt the love and the prayers all around me, and it was just giving me so much strength and joy. Like, I felt so much joy the day and the night before, which is just so unnatural. Like, I can only point that back to the Lord, and I'm so thankful. So then surgery day, I had to wake up at 3:15 a.m. because I had to leave by 4, and I needed time to like take my little surgical scrub shower and everything. We left at 4, went to the hospital. My surgery was at 8, but I had to check in by 5:30. We got there probably like 4:45 actually. We checked in and then we sat and waited for a while, and then they took me back, I think around 6, I would say, is when they took me back to the little pre-op room, and that's where I got changed. This is what it looked like. It just had the little bed, and then it had like my gown and everything that I was supposed to change into on it. This was me. This was at 6:10 a.m. giving my little thumbs up with my little markers on my head. So I was feeling ready, and then I got some paper underwear. It was a good time. And then I changed into the purple gown. And then they got me all hooked up. There were people coming in and out of the pre-op room. Like, I had a nurse in the pre-op room, and so she was in there, and then my parents got to come in and stay with me until they took me back for surgery. And then anesthesiologists would come in and back out and back in and back out. My surgeon came in, and then a chaplain came in, and so there were just a lot of people coming in and out at this point. But I still was just like feeling really fine. Like, obviously I had a lot of like adrenaline built up, but it was coming out as like joy, and like I was just joking around with my dad. Like, we were just having a really genuinely good time. And this is my little selfie. So this is me all hooked up, ready to go. They put stuff on my head, all the things. And so they came in and gave me my IV finally, and the anesthesiologist was like, or the guy that gave me the IV was like, you'll go in with 1 IV and you'll come out with 2. And I went in with 1 and came out with 3. I was like, okay, you lied, but it's fine. And then literally at like 7:58, they come back and they're like, all right, you ready? And I'm like, what? What? And so anesthesiologist comes back, he's like, you ready? And I was like, okay. And he's like, I'll give you a minute with your parents. So they like gave me a minute to just talk to my parents before the surgery. And this is definitely when I started feeling really, really scared. And so I was just like, you know, all the feels. And then they came back in, and the anesthesiologist was like, okay, I'm gonna give you something to calm you down. He was like, it's gonna feel like 1 glass of wine. And I was like, I don't drink. So I was like, okay, don't really know what that feels like, but sounds nice, let's do it. And so I don't really know if I felt a difference from that. I'm sure I did, because I think I was maybe a little less nervous. I don't really know, it's hard to know. But I'm sure it did something. And then they took me back, and that's when he was about to wheel me out, and they were like, all right, let's go. I looked at my parents and I was like, I'm so scared, and I cried a little bit. And woo, that was my anesthesiologist. So, oh yeah, and this was a photo my dad took. I have my little prayer shawls, and that yellow prayer shawl was so sweet. Like, the day before my surgery, my mom found that, and that was like a prayer shawl from when I was like 7 years old. I struggled with debilitating anxiety and went through like a very traumatic year with that, and the church that I was with then gave me that yellow prayer shawl, and my mom found it like the day before my surgery. And so I was like, I need to take that with me. That feels really sweet and healing. So yeah, I actually remember the operating room, which is wild. I was not expecting to be like aware at that point, but I remember they took me down the hall, and I was expecting them to like have to take me far away, but they literally wheeled me like 3 doors down. And he was like, okay, you've got like 5 wines in you now. And I was like, okay. And I think now, like thinking back, I definitely can tell I was a little drugged, because when I think about the operating room, it just felt so magical. I was like, ooh, like it was so big, and there were like 3D scans of my brain everywhere and like all the arteries, and I was like, whoa, there were a ton of people in there. And so I remember what the operating room looked like vaguely. I'm sure it's a little off what I remember, but I remember that. And then they had me move from the bed to the table, and then they put the oxygen or the mask on my face, and they were like, just take a couple breaths. And I literally remember what it felt like on my face and what it smelled like. And then I took one breath, and then I was like, good job, and to do another one, and I did 2 breaths, and I was out. And then I was waking up. So crazy. As I was waking up too, this was really sweet. The first thing that I was hearing in my mind, I was hearing a Maverick City song in my head as I was waking up. Like that was the first thing I was aware of. I was just hearing this song play in my mind before anything else. And it's a song called More Than Able, but at the end, they just sing this over and over. They just say, there's so much more to the story. He's not done with me yet. And I was just hearing that over and over in my mind as I was waking up. And I feel like that was really sweet because I was really scared. Obviously, I think anybody walking into surgery, and especially like a brain surgery, there's that fear that maybe that's the end, you know? And so it was really sweet just like hearing that as I was waking up in my mind. And then I remember looking at the clock, and I was like, okay, I think it was like 11:50 or something like that. And I was like, okay, it took about as long as they said it would. I guess that's a good sign. And I remember like asking the lady that was there, I was like, did it go okay? And she was like, you did great. Everything went really well. And I was like, okay, good. The worst pain, like I had 0 head pain actually, which I feel like is really insane. But I had no head pain the whole first day. The whole first like 2 days I had no head pain. The day of my surgery and the day after, I didn't have any head pain, which I was like, praise the Lord, that's a miracle, because I had heard other stories of people who were like, you wake up in the worst pain of your life. I had to be on morphine and fentanyl, and I literally heard stories like that. And so I think this is a great example that everybody's so different, and we can't hear something that like goes wrong or somebody who's in a lot of pain and expect that that's going to be for us, because I literally had no head pain at all the day of my surgery and the day after. And I wasn't on pain meds either. I didn't have to take any pain meds the whole experience. When I got home, I was having some headaches, and I would just take normal Tylenol, and that would help. So I had no pain meds the whole time, which is crazy. But anyway, I was waking up, and the worst pain for me when I was waking up was my throat hurt really bad, because I was intubated, and I feel like I assume everybody is during the surgery because you can't breathe out of your nose, which that's something I didn't really think about before, but it makes a lot of sense. So my throat hurt really bad, and I told the lady that, and she gave me this like spray to spray in my throat, and I was so nauseous. So they had a little patch on me for nausea. They put that on. The anesthesiologist told me he was going to put that on because apparently like young females, there's more of a chance that you're going to be nauseous. So he was like, I'll put that on during surgery and you'll come out with it. And so I had that on, and then she was giving me something in my IV to help with nausea. I was still so nauseous. Apparently it's really common to be nauseous after this surgery, because of, you know, they're in your head. And so I don't know, apparently it's just, maybe it knocks off your equilibrium or something, but apparently they're like, most people are super nauseous after the surgery. So I was super nauseous, and my throat hurt really bad. That was like the most discomfort that I felt, and my jaw actually really hurt too from the intubation, I'm assuming. So there was that, but I was waking up, and my parents eventually came back to see me, and they told me that they also like gave me a popsicle to help with my throat and maybe my nausea, and some like ice chips, and it was making it worse. And I think the popsicle made me like dry heave a little bit. It's like my body was trying to throw up, but there was nothing in there, so nothing was coming out. But when my parents came back and talked to me, I was getting super nauseous, and my throat was hurting really bad, and I like had to get a barf bag because my body was like trying to throw up, but nothing ever came out. But it was just, that's how nauseous I was. And so my parents came back and talked to me a little bit, and they said that the surgeon, because you know, they go and talk to the parents or whoever's there after the surgery, and apparently my surgeon said that he had to peel my tumor off of my carotid artery. Those are the words he used. I don't love that term, peel it off, but it's fine. He had to peel it off of my carotid artery. But it went beautifully, and I could not be more thankful for that. Everything went well. There were no complications in the surgery, and I just feel so thankful. So I waited around. I had to wait for a couple hours until a neuro ICU room opened up, and then they took me up to the ICU floor, the neuro ICU, and it was not easy getting up there because I was super nauseous, and they like bump you around on the bed. But I made it up to my room, and now I have more photos for you guys. This was the very first selfie that I took and sent it to all my friends. Notice the blood on my nose, and yeah. I sent it to all my friends. I was like, I did it, guys. But yeah, so this is the first photo my dad took of me giving a thumbs up, of course. But that's the neuro ICU. So if you see this window right here, the nurse is like one nurse per two rooms. So the nurse would just sit right there and like look at you through the window to just monitor you and keep an eye on you the whole time. And so they're doing that, and then they come in every like hour, 30 minutes to an hour. So that was the thing with the ICU. It was actually my favorite part of the whole hospital experience. I had the kindest nurses in the whole entire world. Shout out to Cameron and Taryn. Cameron was my day nurse, Taryn was my night nurse, and they just made that experience, like when I think about the ICU, I'm like, I would go back. And like, I want to go back and say hi because they took such good care of me and they were so sweet. And it just, the atmosphere in the ICU was just the sweetest ever. And for some reason I was expecting that to be like the scariest, hardest part, was being in the ICU. I'm like, I have to be in the ICU, what? But it literally could not have been further from that. Like, it was the opposite of that. It was just the sweetest experience ever. They were so kind. It was so peaceful up there. It was so joyful up there. Like, it was just so sweet. And I could not be more thankful for that. So I really enjoyed my experience at the ICU. Like, it was amazing. But I did come out as well with a catheter. And I know not everybody experiences this as well, but my doctor doesn't want us, my surgeon doesn't want us getting up the whole first day, and also they have to really closely monitor your urine output and like certain things like your sodium and stuff in your urine and your specific gravity in your urine. So because diabetes insipidus is really common after this, so they have to closely monitor that. So my surgeon just keeps the catheter in, so they put that in during surgery, so I didn't feel them putting it in. But it was in when I came out of surgery. And I also had these like scabs on the side of my head. I think I have a photo like here, where apparently they had to, which again, this obviously makes sense, but I wasn't expecting this. They apparently had to like screw my head into something, like pin it into something to keep it from moving, which like, duh, that makes sense. But it just wasn't something I had ever heard about, so I didn't really know about it. So I had those, and those were definitely sore for a while. And then I had 3 IVs. So I had an A-line IV right here, and then I had another IV here and another IV here. And it looked like they had like tried in 2 other places and like busted a vein because I had bruises in 2 other places. But I had 3 IVs total. One was an A-line IV, so it was in my artery. And that one, while I was in the ICU, they would use it to take my blood because they were taking my blood pretty frequently. So they just, it's easier to access it that way. So I would take my blood. I was getting a lot of IV antibiotics and steroids. I think the steroids are what was helping me not feel any head pain because they were just taking out the inflammation so much, I'm assuming. So I did not have any head pain. And yeah, it was just, so day 1 overall, day of my surgery, was not bad at all pain wise. The worst part was just nausea and throat pain for me. I think by like 8 p.m. they brought me dinner, and they brought me like the clear liquid diet because I was super nauseous. And so there was like broth and jello and this like slushy ice thing and like a tea or something. And I literally took a sip of broth, a bite of jello, and then I was like dry heaving into a bag. My body was like trying to get that out. It was like, no, we're not doing that today. So that was like the only thing I ate all day, the first day, because I just could not stomach anything. My body was just rejecting it all. But honestly, after that last little moment around 8 p.m. when my body was like trying to throw up, nothing ever came out. But after that, it's like I felt relief from the nausea. And so I don't think I felt nauseous again after that. And they found me some ginger ale, which was nice. So yeah, then I just hung out. I will say I love the ICU, but sleep is non-existent there. So I think I got 1 hour of sleep that night, just because they're coming in and out every like 30 minutes to an hour. And they're not just coming in, they're like coming in and doing things and doing neuro checks on you. So they would come in and be like, what's your name? Where are you? What's your date of birth? Why are you here? Say the days of the week backwards and shine a light in your eyes and get pee out of the catheter. And my catheter like clogged up a couple times because I like raised the legs of my bed, and apparently that like clogged it. So yeah, sleep was not a thing. I got 1 hour that night. But it was still really sweet, and it was not a bad experience for me. Day 2, I woke up that morning and they cleared me to stand up. So I was able to get my catheter out, which didn't feel very good when they took it out. They just pull it out. They have to like deflate the balloon and then pull it out. There's like a balloon that inflates in your bladder that keeps the catheter in. And then they deflate that and just pull it all out. And it hurts, but it's like a second and it's out, so it's fine. But yeah, so I got my catheter taken out, and then I got my A-line IV taken out, which hurt pretty bad. Not the taking out, it just hurt after because it was an artery, and my nurse had to like squeeze my arm. Hey Chloe. My nurse had to like squeeze my arm for like 5 minutes, just because it was the artery, so I didn't bleed out or anything. But yeah, so that was a little painful, but it was nice having those things out. And then I got to stand up once my catheter was out. So I got to stand up, the PT came, and I got to walk or do little laps around the hospital. It felt really weird walking after surgery and not standing up for a whole day. My legs felt so stiff. It felt really weird walking, but it felt so good. I got to pee like normal again. And then my surgeon came to see me that morning, and he said my prolactin was a 2, which is crazy because it was like a 96 before surgery. And so he's like, it's a 2, you're healed. And it was just like amazing to hear that. So refreshing after like a year of every time I would get it checked, it would just be higher and higher and higher and higher, to hear that like it's healed. I was like, are you kidding? So that was a really sweet moment. And then I was just hanging out that day. I had to wait until a room on the normal neuro floor opened up, and that took a while. So I was cleared to leave ICU by like midday that day, the second day, the day after my surgery. But it just took them a while for a room to open up. So I didn't actually move out of ICU until like 8 p.m. The day after my surgery. And I was kind of sad to leave, and then I moved to the normal floor, and I honestly did not like the normal floor. My nurse just felt a little off, and like it felt weird. I was in a huge room too. Like it was huge, which I hated it. It was like too big. It felt like they would close the door and then just forget about me. Way different than the ICU. So I definitely missed the ICU, but it was fine. They still had to come in every 4 hours, check my blood sugar, and every 4 to 6 hours to give me new IV antibiotics. And so I still probably got like 3 to 4 hours that night of sleep as well. And then the next day, so got there, surgery was on the 17th. On the 19th of October, I got discharged around 12 p.m. and got to go home, which was so nice. I saw my surgeon again that day, and he just cleared me to leave because everything was looking good. So, but that morning was when I started to get a little bit of like a sinus pressure headache. And then I went home and I was having some pretty bad headaches, but again, Tylenol helped. So normal Tylenol, so I never had to take pain meds. It was never at that level. I also got a thing called a headache hat, which if you're gonna get the surgery, look it up and get one on Amazon. Just look up headache hat. They're like, you keep them in the freezer and you just put them over your head. They feel so good. So definitely get one of those if you're gonna get the surgery. But I went home on that day and started the recovery journey at home. I would say I dealt with headaches for about like a week or so, and then that really started to ease. But I was definitely like in bed, only getting up to like go to the bathroom and maybe like go down my driveway and back up. Like I was super exhausted, and really like my head pressure was a lot, so I just kind of had to lay in bed for a while, obviously. Yeah, so that was like the first week, literally just laying in bed. I had like 1 or 2 friends come visit me that week, but I was super exhausted, so nothing crazy. And then week 2, I started feeling a lot better physically. It's like I've been just slowly feeling better and better. And then now I'm a month out, and really the only thing I'm experiencing is just a little bit of congestion. I just got my taste back. So my taste was gone for 4 weeks. But it wasn't completely gone. It would kind of come in and out and in and out. And anytime it would come in, it would be very muted. And sometimes I could only taste some things, but it was just weird like that until 4 weeks after my surgery. And then on that 4th week, it actually like came back. And that is like the one thing that's been kind of lingering, that's been weird, is just like my taste is very weird now that it's come back. And I don't know if anybody else has experienced this, but like peanut butter used to be one of my favorite things, and it makes me nauseous now. Like a lot of things just make me nauseous and like overwhelm me as far as flavors and smells go, which is not normal for me. Like I don't usually get nauseous at much of anything. So that's been something I've been having to navigate. And yeah, it's just been weird with my appetite and with my sense of taste and smell. But that is, I know, normaling out, and things are getting better every day still. So I'm so thankful for that. But yeah, I mean, 1 month post-surgery, I do, if you want to follow me on TikTok at GabbiXx, I've been posting updates every single week so you can hear more detailed of what the recovery has looked like. But yeah, I mean, as of now, 1 month later, I did not expect to feel this good. I don't get headaches anymore. I moved back into my apartment. I got cleared to drive on week 3. Oh, I forgot to mention this. I do have a little incision in my lower stomach. So it's like under my bikini line. My surgeon actually did that on purpose because he's like, I have daughters and I want to make sure you can like easily cover it, which I thought was really sweet. But I have like an incision about this long, like 1.5 to 2 inches. So they take fat from the stomach and put it in my head to kind of like plug the hole and just help prevent CSF leaks and everything. So I do have an incision down there. I would show you guys, but it's like a little too low. So I have that. Can't believe I forgot to mention that. I got that checked at my 3-week post-op with my nurse last week, or a week and a half ago or whatever, whenever that was. It was 3 weeks post-surgery. She checked my incision and cleared me to like take off the steri strips. So it had steri strips and dissolvable stitches inside. So I got those taken off, and I got to shower after that without covering it, which has been nice. But yeah, everything's been looking really good. I did also after, so they have me on hydrocortisone, which I think they put most people on after this surgery to help prevent diabetes insipidus and to help with cortisol that is can be impacted right after this surgery. So they had me on hydrocortisone for like, how long did they have me on it? I think it was like 10 days after my surgery. I don't know what's going on out there. Kids are going crazy. But I think 10 days after my surgery, I had an appointment with my endocrinologist who works with my surgeon, and I got my cortisol checked that morning, and she cleared me to stop the hydrocortisone because my cortisol was looking normal. And I also, so when I got home from the hospital, I had to start a fluid restriction. So for like a week to 10 days, I had to be on a fluid restriction, and I could not drink or consume any more than 32 ounces of liquid. So like smoothies counted, soup counted. So I literally had soup. My mom made soup one night and I drained the liquid out of it just so I could drink 32 ounces of water. It was just, that was so miserable. That was one of the hardest parts for me about this whole thing, was the fluid restriction, because I drink a lot of water, and 32 ounces in a day, I'm like, I drink that within the first hour of being awake. So that was hard for me, very, very hard, but we did it. So yeah, I got cleared. I had to get my sodium and everything checked. It can just be dangerous to drink a lot of water and knock off your electrolyte levels, something like that. So anyway, that was all fine. So I got cleared at my endocrinologist appointment to come off the hydrocortisone and the fluid restriction, which was so nice. And yeah, I mean, I'm doing so well. A month after surgery, I'm back to all my jobs. I'm back in my apartment. I'm back going up all 4 flights of stairs to my apartment. I'm back going on little walks. I'm not doing anything crazy. I won't be cleared to like work out or do, you know, probably normal level of activity that I was doing before until my 8-week follow-up. But other than that, like, I'm doing really well, just being very gentle with myself and really listening to my body. This is not the time to like be pushing things, obviously. So I mean, that's been kind of the journey for you guys. Like I said, just cannot believe it's over and that it happened and that everything went well. I could not be more thankful for that. Truly, like, I could say it so many times. I just could not be more thankful for that. I think it's not gonna hit me that it's over until I go back for my 8-week follow-up and I get my MRI and it shows that like there's no tumor in the MRI, and I get those results back, and then I see my surgeon like probably the last time and he clears me to just live my normal life. Like, I think that's when it's really gonna hit me. But for now, I'm truly just so thankful, and I just want to share this to give any of you some hope that, like, yeah, it's a hard journey. Of course, it's not an easy thing, but it's just not nearly as bad as I was expecting. And I just want to give you guys that hope too, that like it can actually be a really beautiful thing. And I found that like walking with Jesus has turned this into a healing experience when it could have created trauma or something, like been a really bad experience. It actually was one of the most beautiful things that I've ever gotten to walk through, and I feel so thankful that I got to walk through this just because of the ways that it healed my heart and the ways that I got to know the Lord. Like, I just have hundreds of stories, like so many stories. I could write a whole book of the ways that the Lord showed up in this, every single step of this, and it's changed me forever, and I'm so thankful. So I just want to share this with you guys to give you some hope too, hopefully. If you are going through this journey, if you've gone through this journey, if you are going through this journey, leave a comment below. Let's support each other. It's crazy to me how many people are walking through this and how little like awareness there is about it, and that's one of the reasons why I'm like really wanting to share my journey, because it can just feel so lonely, and there are so many emotions and feelings that go through this that I feel like aren't really validated. And so I just want to be that voice for you guys and create a little community of pituitary tumor people. So if you're walking through a journey with a pituitary tumor, leave a comment below. And if you have any questions at all, please leave a comment below. I'll be happy to answer them for you. I am so thankful for you guys, so thankful for this community, and yeah, I hope this brought you some peace. I love you guys, and if you are also walking through this, definitely go check out my TikTok. Not a self-plug, but just because I have been posting, well, it is a self-plug, but I'm sharing because I have been posting a lot more videos about this, and I do go a lot more into depth on like my story, how I found out about my tumor, my symptoms, how I got surgery, the every week update after my surgery, telling you what's changed and all of that. So I feel like that's a good place for you to go if you're still wanting some more stuff, but also just leave me questions below and I'll be happy to answer them. Love you guys so much. I hope this was encouraging to anybody walking through this, and it's all gonna be okay. Don't forget it. No matter what you're walking through, it's all gonna be okay. I love you guys, and we'll see you in my next video. Bye.